Hey everybody, welcome to Lessons with Troy. I'm Troy Brenningmeyer. Well, I wanted to give you a free lesson today, just something real simple, and that's something that I'm using quite a bit if I'm playing blues, and that's using my bender, right, my second string bender, to take a root position chord, like let's say we're in the key of D, right, and just playing on these top two strings with my index and middle finger, right, and we're just going to play those, but what we're going to do is we're going to move that back 2 frets, and then push your second string bender down. I might use my volume pedal a little bit too. Right? Now what that's going to do is that's going to give on the top string, now you have your flat 7. You have a C note, which totally works over the blues. And then with the bender pushed down, you have your 5th of your chord. So the 5th and the flat 7 here, 2 frets back from my root position. It doesn't sound like much until you hear it with a jam track. Let me go ahead and play it with a jam track. In the key of D. Here we go. Over G. Over the A chord. So something that you can do too is keep in mind that we're in the key of D. Your root position is here on your 12th fret, right? So what we're doing is we're just going back 2 frets with that second string bender down, giving us a D7. Well, what's kind of cool to do too is to just you've got a D, what can work over a D major on your 7th fret, right, over that A chord with your bender down on your 1st and 2nd string. That gives you what works over a D major. Well, keep in mind if you walk that up with your 2nd string bender down, that turns that D major into a D7. Or if you walk that D7 down, it'll turn it back into that D major chord, because that's going from that, keep in mind that C note on top, that's the flat 7 of our chord, and then it goes down to the 5th of the chord with on the 2nd string with the 2nd string bender down, that goes into the major 3rd of that D chord. Let me show you what that sounds like with the jam track. I'll just do the D major in the A position. Over the A. So the other thing you can do is, see how I walk that down? You know, when you're in this position with your 2nd string bender down, you can let it off and it gets back to your A chord. Now keep in mind, all these in blues can be dominant 7th chords, right? But yeah, that's just a real simple thing. So just to review, if you're in root position, just keep it real simple. Just play on your 1st and 2nd string and go 2 frets back with your 2nd string bender down, and that gives you a bluesy sound. It's a D7 sound. Same thing if you're on, say, you got your 2nd string bender down and you're going to walk it down to a regular just D major chord with your bender on your 7th fret, because we know that this is an A chord, but with the benders down, it's actually a D chord, right? Right on that 7th fret. And we're just keeping it simple. One bender on your 1st and 2nd string. And you can do slants too with the benders, right? If you've got, here's a D. That would be like an A chord, right? Okay, that can work as a A7 chord with the benders, right? Because what you've got here is, if you've got this position for your A chord, right, on your 7th fret, just keep in mind if you go up to here's an A note, if you go up here to a C sharp note, and then you slant it but put the bender down, what you're getting here is then you're getting this A note on your 2nd string, right? It sounds like this. Because we take this G note here that's on our normally there, right? And we go up to that note, which is A. So we know 2 frets back from A is G. So that's an A7 chord too. Because what we're doing is we're keeping that major 3rd of the chord with the slant on top, and then with the bender down, that's just a straight A major chord, because that's an A note and a C sharp, the root and the major 3rd. But when we take that, when we let off the bender, that's a really cool little trick there, using a slant to turn that A, drop it down to that G note, which gives us an A7. And a good way to remember that, there's a couple ways. Well, on our 12th fret is D. So if we think the 5 chord in the key of D, we think an A, right? An A chord. And you can get that chord with the slant on your 11th fret and 10th fret, 1st and 2nd string. And then you let off the bender and you get an A7. The other way to think about it is in your A position, and you go from root up a major 3rd to a C sharp, and then slant your bar to 10 and 11. A major, A7. So just think about that from the root position. That's what I always do. I'll visualize this stuff from where it is in the root position of my chord, or from another root position where I might want to think of that as a different chord, like in the key of D, having that as my 5 chord. And that's something that's super simple to do if you just memorize the patterns. A, up a major 3rd, and slant your bar. Just normally slanted is an A7 with no benders. If you just push the 2nd string bender down, that's going to be a straight up A major, because we got the root and major 3rd. Okay, I hope that all makes sense to you, and I'll go ahead and stop it there. That's a lot to take in. Well, I hope that helps you, and we will see you on the next lesson. And be sure to check out my streaming site for all my other lessons and charts and diagrams, jam tracks, all that. That's at lwtstreaming.com. Okay, thanks everybody. See you on the next lesson.